happening, guys? How are we doing? So welcome back to Billy Four Rocks. Today we're going to do a penny stove. I've seen a couple of guys do it on YouTube and it all seems pretty straightforward, but you never know, they might do a tricky bit of editing to make it look more simple than it is, but I'm pretty sure it's quite straightforward. So basically, if you don't know what a penny stove is, it's basically a really cheap, almost completely free of charge way to build yourself a little stove, which is it's kind of like the triangular stoves that you put fuel in, liquid burning stoves. We're going to use methylated spirits. The American market, I believe, call it denatured alcohol. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I think that's what they call it. But it's yeah, it's basically methylated spirits because it burns cleaner. I've seen someone use lighter fluid, which you can also use, but apparently it leaves soot on your pots and pans. Okay, so like I said, not many things you need to build this. Most of all, chances are you're going to have all this stuff at home anyway. Alright, so let's see what you actually need to build a penny stove. Let's go. Alright, let's show you what you need. First of all, you need 2 cans. Doesn't have to be Coke, obviously. Any sort of cans will do, because we're only going to be using the 2 bottom halves anyway. Okay, you need a block of wood, roughly 35mm, 40mm thick, thereabouts. And on top, a Stanley blade screwed into the wood. I'll explain more about that in a second. You don't really need that, but it's just a little extra thing that I've done. I'll explain that, like I said. Some just normal cotton wool, a little thumbtack, and some methylated spirits. So like I said, all those things you will probably have in your house. Obviously you won't have that in your house as it is. Looks like some sort of prison shank thing, you know. But yeah, so you can knock that up. But like I said, you don't have to use that. Okay, so that's everything you need. So let's get started. And I'm quite excited about this and get cracking on with this penny stove. Let's do it. Okay, so we've got our 2 Coke cans. Now, what we need to do, like I said, is we need to cut these around about 35mm to 40mm up from the bottom, because we're going to get rid of the 2 top halves. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do it. Obviously, you can just jam in a pair of scissors and cut around it. If you want to do a super straight line, just get a Sharpie on a plank of wood, and you could just go around it like so, and you get a nice straight line, and you could just get your scissors in there and just cut it. You know, these are only aluminium, they'll cut really easy. So that's one way of doing it. If you want to do a super straight cut, like I said, get 2 blocks of wood or whatever you got, a block of wood, screw in a Stanley blade into the top there, and then you just run it round. This is a way of getting a nice straight cut. Now the thing is, you don't have to go all the way through apparently. You just need to like heavily score it, being careful not to crush the can. You know, you don't want to put too much weight on it. Okay, so hopefully that will do it. Now you see that score there, that's gone in quite deep. Now apparently all you do, no, I think I need to go in a bit further. This is good, trial and error. Okay, here we go. Then you just gently prise it apart like so, and then you've got yourself a nice straight, albeit a little bit jagged, but that doesn't matter, cut. So that's your first half. Then you do exactly the same to the other can. Well, I say a nice straight cut, but geez, look at that. Okay, there's your two halves. Get your top two halves, bin them. Okay, so the idea is we need to put one of these inside the other one, but obviously they're the same diameter, so we just need to crimp the edges. And to do that, just get yourself a pair of long nose pliers and just start going around the edge and just bring it in like that. Just go all the way around. Okay, until you have something like that. Now what you need to do is you need to add your fuel, well, not your fuel, but your fuel kind of soaks into, and in this case we're just using some cotton wool. I think that should be alright. So you got that there. Then you get your top half, and hopefully if it's done right, one should just, with a little bit of, let's crimp that bit one a bit more. It should. Alright, so I've just gone around it a bit more just to bring it in a little bit tighter. Now surely this time, yeah, here we go. Now obviously what I don't want to do is crush the can. Oh, definitely didn't want to do that. So there you go. So the idea is to make the line of the top can meet the base of the bottom can with just a little bit of gentle persuasion. So the idea is you're creating a nice seal around the bottom. So that's looking good. So there you go, something like that. So there is your basis for the stove. Okay, next thing to do is we need to put the holes for the flames to come out, and also the holes in the middle for the penny to sit on, and I'll explain a bit more about that in a second, and also the holes for the fuel to go into to soak into that cotton wool. Alright, stage 3, let's do it. Okay, so this is where this little tack comes in handy. Now the idea is to put a series of holes around the edge. There's not an exact number really. I've seen guys put one there, one there, one there, one there, and then just divide those lines up. So you end up with I think it's about 10 holes around the side. So I'm just going to do, you see where the kind of crease goes in there? You need to kind of put it just in there. So there we go. Oh Jesus, I didn't bet on it sinking right in like that. Doesn't matter, it's the first time I've done it. So we do one there, one in the same area above. Okay, so you got 2 there. That should be alright. Then we do 1 in the center, and then a few more just around that center hole. Whoops. Alright, so there's your stove done. Now I've seen guys sand all the red off and have a nice sort of all over chrome or aluminium looking thing. I might do that. I might just leave it as it is, just leave it rough and ready. So let me explain the thing about the penny. Okay, so inside now, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? If I'm not saying this right, please say so in the comment section. But the first thing you need to do before you use it is you fill up the can with the methylated spirits. Okay, so you pour it in there and it goes through the holes and it soaks into the cotton wool. And then before you can use it, you have to prime it. Now, I've seen guys use different ways of doing this. They stick it on the floor, they pour methylated spirits around the base, and the idea is you heat up the fuel inside the stove, and that causes the vapor to be released, and that's what burns out through this hose. It causes a pressure. Okay, now when that starts, you put your penny on the top to cover the holes, and that creates a kind of vacuum to make the flames come out the side more efficiently. Now if that's correct, good. If not, please let me know, because I would like to know as well, but I'm just going by what else I've seen and read from guys that have done this. Okay, so let's get outside, fill this up and see how well it works. Let's do it. Alright, so I found this old tin. Going to stick the stove in there. Then you get your methylated spirits, and apparently you just pour a little drop in the bottom, and then wait for it to soak into the cotton wool. I think I'll just do maybe that much. Okay, get that well out of the way. Alright, here goes. Okay. Alright, so all the excess is burnt off, and that's what I mean. You've got to prime the can before you can use it. Now hopefully you can see that. How good is that? You've got a perfectly working, free of charge stove. You can put your pot on top of there and you're ready to go. Alright, so what do you reckon about that? That's pretty good, right? For free. I mean, you can't knock that. I mean, it's just something to do just for a laugh. You know, you've got a quiet Sunday, just knock something up. Okay, so if you're wondering how long it will burn for, I've just done a bit of research, and they reckon 1 ounce of fuel will burn for roughly 10 minutes. There's a lot of variables involved here: the size of the can, the sort of fuel that you use, the amount of holes that you have on the outside, the climate conditions, whether you're high up, all have they all play a role in the burn time. But as a general rule of thumb, 1 ounce equals 10 minutes. What did one guy say? He used 2 ounces and he could boil 8 cups of water. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, alright, so next video coming up is going to be the Anker power bank. That's been in testing for the last the middle of last week and up to probably about Wednesday of this week. I'm just testing it per charge, see how long it lasts. It's going to be a load of information on that, not just how many charges it does, but also its performance per charge. So the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes, blah blah blah. Okay, I will see you hopefully next week. Alright guys, take it easy, see you soon. Adios, bye.